All right, 3 o'clock. Happy Friday, my friends. Chad here. NBA Finals set. Mavericks and Celtics. Game one will be Thursday. Tip-off at 5:30 on ABC. Boston has been set as a 6.5-point favorite in Game one. Here is Luka commenting on the Celtics.
NBA. They had by far the best record. They have some incredible weapons on offense and defense. So we're gonna have to play really hard and amazing basketball to beat them.
According to reports, Kristaps Porzingis is getting better, but no word on when he's going to return to the court. Oregon State will kick off the Corvallis Regional tonight against Tulane. Pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6 on 1190 KEX. Your home of the Beavs. In the Softball World Series, 2 elimination games today, Alabama and Duke, followed by Stanford and Oklahoma State. Coverage starts at 4 on ESPN. And former Notre Dame quarterback Tyler Buckner is back at the school after playing football at Bama last year. He will play wide receiver for the Irish this season. All right, this is how I knew it was going to be a great Friday at work. I walked in the studio today, and my good friend and partner, the Godfather, Dwight Chad, sitting right on my desk in front of my computer here in studio, a bag of Snyder's Twisted Pretzel Sticks. The flavor would be jalapeno ranch, a flavor I turned you on to last week, and then you did the appropriate thing and went out and bought like 50 bags of them.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah, they're hard to find. That flavor particularly, you can find them everywhere in other flavors. That flavor is obviously in demand.
I would call this flavor jalapeno ranch for Snyder pretzels to be elite.
Yeah, I thought heavenly was a good description. It is unbelievable.
We always talk about the elite quarterbacks in the NFL or the elite players in the NBA.
Yeah.
Snyder's is elite in the world of pretzels.
Yeah, that's some elite pretzel right there.
I love how you and I, and then me and Luke, I've got all these friends. We're always trying to get each other hooked on different snacks. I have a pretty good idea that this bag will be opened up before the end of the show today, but it's good to see you, buddy. Beautiful outside today. Golf course was spectacular this morning. Now, the only thing today that's really been off has been the traffic. It's a little bit nasty out there because I think people, you know, it works on a Friday when it's nice.
I'm out of Dodge. Yeah.
It's the right way to play it. So traffic was messy trying to get over to work today. But, man, what a beautiful day. The golf tournament is tomorrow.
Yeah.
It is all good, my friend. It's all good. And I will be on vacation starting on Thursday of next week. So I take off Wednesday night, taking a red eye into New York and getting ready for the big trip to go see the Yankees and Dodgers next weekend at Yankee Stadium.
Dream vacation.
So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to reach out, you can get a hold of the Godfather. You'll find him on X at Dwight Chad. You'll find me there at Chad in Rip City. You can also join us with our live stream here in the studio. Just go to youtube.com and pull up our homepage, Rip City Radio 620, and you'll find the live links to all of our local shows right there. You can see what it looks like in studio and take part in the chat. And Rip City Radio 620 or the telephone number if you want to jump on board, 503-248-0620. Mike Oakes is at Master Control today, so you can expect good music from him, which we appreciate. We also have 2 pairs of goodies, actually 2 4-packs of goodies we're going to give away on the show today. We have a 4-pack for the Portland E Grand Prix that's coming up at PIR. And we also have a 4-pack of tickets for the Thorns. So we're going to, send people out happy on a Friday, Godfather. You down with that?
Yeah, it's a big day. Friday with the sun out. It doesn't get much better than that in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, I want to start with this. First off, very disappointed with the Minnesota Timberwolves last night.
Yeah.
Just laying an egg at home and dying as the Mavericks now cruise into the NBA Finals against the Celtics, which will kick off next Thursday. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show, the matchup itself. But Minnesota, I think it's exactly what you were talking about yesterday. They look like a team that just ran out of gas. And I have to believe it was the Denver series that just took a chunk of their soul, and they didn't have enough. And then you combine that with the fact that Dallas is on fire and playing great basketball.
Yeah.
Just too much to overcome, man. Props to the Mavericks for going into Minnesota and handling business. And now, because of that win, they get all this extra rest, nearly a week off before they take the court for game one against Boston. But, man, Minnesota was flat, Godfather. Brutal. I wanted more.
They had 3 games at home against Dallas and couldn't win any of them. I mean, what is going on?
I was stunned.
I guess you're tired. I don't know. It's like I said, they got that win in Dallas. They just put everything they had into it to keep from getting swept. But it was a mirage in terms of their ability to beat Dallas.
All right. We talked about before the game last night that if Dallas got good scoring performances from Kyrie and Luka, they would win the game. They certainly did.
Yeah.
Luka last night, 36 points, connected on 6 of 10 from downtown. He also had 10 rebounds and 5 assists. They got 36 points from Kyrie Irving, who connected on 14 of his 27 shots. He also had 5 assists, so great production there. But I want to focus in on Luka, who is a dynamic player and one of the best in the NBA. I think right now he leads the playoffs in points, rebounds, and assists. The only other guy to do that is Jokic, right?
Last year,
Jokic. And now it's Luka. Well, let's talk about Luka. What are some of the things? We were talking about this before the show. He's got great vision. And I want to talk about some of his attributes as a basketball player,
Sure.
what makes him great. But let's start with the vision. What do you see with what he can do when he's on the floor, being able to see everything going on around him?
Yeah, well, the vision comes from being so tall. And he's Magic Johnson-like at guard because of his height, purely because of his height, and really his ability to pass the ball. They're actually a lot alike in that neither one was particularly quick or even fast.
Yeah.
But they can still go where they want to go, get where they want to get. Great ball handlers, good poise, know how to pass the ball. A lot of similarities there. Only Luka is a better scorer than Magic was. Now, could Magic get you 35 on a given night? Of course. Yeah, he did. He would. But he can't average 30 points a game, or he didn't average 30 a game. Maybe he could have on a different team, but he was not the offensive player, and certainly not the three-point shooter that Luka has become. Luka is very similar, and so versatile, can do so many things.
Yeah, and I think what really separates him, he can back guys down and play slow like Magic did and get his shot off over anyone in the painted area, which he's really good at. But where he really changes the game compared to a guy like Magic is how he can step out and work off the bounce, get a 3-up over anyone. He can catch and shoot. He can, pull up off the bounce and shoot a 3. The range that he's got and the comfort level that he has scoring at all 3 levels on the floor is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and that's an age-old problem with a player like him, Chad. Do you put a big on him to kind of get into his shot a little bit, but your big won't be able to, guard him when he puts the ball on the ground? That's the problem.
Well, the guy that we saw probably have the most success was Lou Dort. I guess you got to be physical with him.
Right, and that's a great point because Lou Dort was able to push him around. Lou Dort, for people who haven't seen him, is kind of a tank. He's strong. He's built solid, a little lower to the ground, so he gets leverage on players.
Yeah.
He was able to push him around. And that might be the formula there, where you just have to be physical with him.
You make a great point. I think with Luka, he doesn't have the physique of some of the great athletes in the game.
Yeah.
And so I think when you look at him, your mind tells you one thing, but then when he starts banging on you down low, Luka's really strong, and he can absorb punishment and still be able to get his shot up. He can also finish with contact, but Luka's strong. He doesn't look it through the eye, but when he's on the floor and he's banging against bigger bodies, he holds his ground. He really is a strong character, very thick, strong, can handle himself down low.
Yeah, people talk about him being young and first time in the finals and all that. This guy's one of the most experienced players under pressure around, because he was a pro at such a young age. He was playing against pros when he's 15 years old.
And these are pros who are older too, right?
Yes, older guys. He won the EuroLeague, was MVP of the EuroLeague when he was like 16 or 17 years old. So this is nothing. And believe me, people say, oh, EuroLeague. No, when you're living in Europe and you're playing for your country over there in professional basketball, it's huge. That's a big deal. And it's just people don't understand his experience level. He's very smart, high IQ player, like Magic was again. Magic knew the game inside and out.
Yeah.
He was an X and O guy. He knew what was going on. I think Luka's the same way. We haven't had as long a period to see Luka to find out exactly what his parameters are, but he looks great to me.
And it doesn't, I mean, can you see it in his game in terms of the exceptional play from All-Star break on and in the postseason? It looks like Luka is a more willing passer, or he's deferring more in spots because he's trying to make sure that Kyrie gets fed and he takes care of his guys like Lively, who are working their ass off, PJ Washington. It looks like Luka is engaging his teammates more, which is making them a more dangerous team.
Yeah, I think he's gotten help. Jason Kidd has helped him a lot. A great point guard in his own right.
Yeah.
And he's helped him be a better point guard. The other thing that helped him is the front office, because they went out and got some bigs he can throw lobs to.
Yeah.
So however many assists tonight he's getting, about half of those are on those easy lobs that he throws very well to his bigs. And that keeps that guy setting that good firm screen for you.
Yeah.
Because he knows once in a while he's going to roll to the basket and get the ball.
All right. I don't know how to describe this. He definitely has confidence, but don't you think Luka, he's borderline arrogant and probably overconfident because he's so good. And it works for him.
Absolutely. He's overconfident. And that's stuff where he's yelling at fans and he's even yelling at opponents, you can't bleep and guard me and all that stuff. You could relax on that stuff a little bit. It doesn't I know it plays well to a certain segment of the audience.
Yeah.
But overall, it's not good. And you don't need to do that stuff. You're too good for that. Larry Bird was a great trash talker, but for the most part, nobody ever heard it except the guys he was talking to. And that's kind of the secret to that.
Yeah, my favorite. I think we talked about this, but when he and Dr. J got into that fisticuffs, right, where Dr. J wanted to kill him,
Mm-hmm.
well, Barkley and a couple of others, McHale, they've said what Larry said to him. He wasn't yelling at him like, you can't effing guard me. Bird got hot, and Dr. J was defending Bird. And Bird hit a shot, and he looked back and just quietly whispered towards Dr. J, man, you need to retire.
Oh,
And it just sent him over the edge.
that's the ultimate.
So he wasn't calling him out
God.
publicly where, we saw Luke after he hit that big three in the face of Rudy. He was, he let him know about it, which, whatever, I'm fine with. But, there's a way you can go about it.
Yeah.
The problem is that I'm older now. I'm a little more old school. So I don't need the in-your-face, pounding of the chest, acting a little bit silly.
Yeah.
It's over the top.
Well, yeah.
But if I was Luke and had that type of game, I would probably be the same way.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing he can't do on the floor. It probably feels amazing.
I think when you're around the league longer, you learn that stuff comes back to bite you. You make other players mad, and they up their game a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you can handle that, but maybe you can't. And if you can't, that becomes a very embarrassing thing for you.
All right. He's definitely top 5 right now. Top 5 player in the league, without question.
No question.
Yeah.
Top 2 or 3.
So he's
maybe
right
top
up there.
1. Yeah.
He's right up there with Giannis and Jokic, right?
Giannis, Jokic. Yeah, that's 1 and 2, and it's a ways before you get to number 3. I was thinking about that talking. Great example. Edwards, okay, with Minnesota. What does he say after they find out they're playing Dallas? I got Kyrie. Yeah, how did that work out for you, kid?
Not well.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have said that. That
Yeah.
was probably not a good idea.
Yeah, just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back, and when we do, I'm going to ask Dwight about Luka's weakness. Does he have a weakness? And if so, what is it? We'll talk about Dallas and their improvements, and that especially, factors in with Jason Kidd, who's done a great job. It's unbelievable. The Timberwolves as well. We know they ran out of gas, but what were some of the other issues that plagued them in this series? And then more importantly, what do they do this offseason? Do they tinker with the roster, or do they run it back and try to build off of the success that they had this year, or was it a flash in the pan? We'll get to that. It's Dwight and Chad with you on a Friday, along with Mike Oakes. You got the Rip City Drive. I look up Godfather. We got Sean Payton on the television screen here in the studio. We do have a Bo Nix update coming up later in the show. But I think in all of the different things I read and listen to, which is extensive when it comes to the Broncos, I think Sean Payton might be in love with Bo Nix.
It's torrid. It's a torrid love affair, Chad.
I agree. I think it's very torrid. And what's very interesting to me, it reminds me of Jim Nance and Tony Romo. For whatever reason, Nance instantly fell in love with Romo, and now they're like two peas in a pod in the broadcast booth. And
Absolutely.
I feel like Sean Payton, would you say a lot of coaches, they're so arrogant and confident in everything that they do that they start to fall in love with their picks, regardless of what the truth may be.
Exactly. And then that's a problem because then they see things and they probably aren't seeing them right. They want them to be good, so in their mind they're good, even if they're not good.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. But I think his exact quote was, "Oh, Bo's not throwing the ball well. He's throwing it extremely well." What coach in the NFL says that about a rookie? How crazy is that?
I don't hear him out of Chicago saying that about Caleb Williams.
Oh, dude. What about the Bears being on Hard Knocks? You down with that?
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting. I'm kind of glad that's the choice they made. That's a franchise that never wanted any part of that series, by the way.
No, of course not. No, and the reason
Who
why,
does, right?
Yeah, it's like the Jets. The Jets would do it again because they're the Jets and they're a dumb franchise.
Well,
morons continue to do moron type things.
Yeah.
You don't want it because you don't want that type of distraction in your locker room.
Of course.
Especially with a golden armed quarterback and Caleb Williams, a rookie who's, trying to get through his first training camp and everything. It's an unfortunate distraction, but great for all of us because, look, I know how this is going to go down. There are a lot of people who have a perception of Caleb Williams, especially Pac-12 fans, Duck fans,
sure,
Dog fans. They don't like him. They think he's a punk. They don't like the fingernail polish, the this and the that, maybe a little bit of jealousy because he goes to USC.
I can see where they think that, Chad.
Yeah. I understand that. But a lot of times what a player or an athlete does on the field or on the court, and don't let that distract from how the person operates. Caleb Williams is someone who played at Oklahoma, then he went to USC. I've had a chance to meet with him and talk to him face to face. He's all business. Like, this guy's going to work his butt off to be the best quarterback he can be. And he's been preparing for this moment for a long period of time. So he takes it very seriously. He's going to put in the time. He's a really smart quarterback, and he's got all the tools necessary. So I think it's going to be fun to watch his process through the Hard Knocks. And you know how it works in sports. When he gets on the practice field around the vets and they see how he throws a football and how he handles a huddle and the plays that he can make and how the receivers are going to be able to have more receptions, more yards, which means more money, and he's going to help them win, it's not going to take them long to fall in love with the fact that they've got him as their quarterback, and they'll play hard for him because they know if they take care of him, he's going to win. Bottom line.
Yeah, I like watching Hard Knocks, always have. But the question I have, Chad, I think the team that has it done about them has some sort of veto power over what goes out, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Just like with Aaron Rodgers. Remember, the stuff that was coming out about Aaron Rodgers was absurd.
That was like that's actually like he was actually running for president.
Yeah.
It was a campaign film.
They should have renamed it like Love Letters to Aaron or something.
Yeah. No, that's a shame because it's too bad some independent company can't go in and do that. So you hear an occasional veteran say, I don't think this kid, I don't think he's as good as the guy we traded away.
No, but that's the best stuff. If they were to truly just, and again, players wouldn't want the truth to come out, but if you had a show where the cameras just rolled and you had players who were just speaking freely about anything and everything that it came to the team with the coaches and all that, that would be a fabulous watch because then people would have a real idea of the pressure that these players in the NFL experience when they go into camp because, again, the majority of the guys in the league don't make huge money. So they're stressed to make the team. And then what about the veterans who see the young guys coming up trying to take their job? That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then quarterbacks, too. There are douchey quarterbacks that guys in the locker room don't like and don't want to play hard for, and it would be great to see some of those dynamics play out.
Yeah, and, it's like Pro players at that level are famous for rooting against the guy ahead of them.
Of course.
Can you hear those sideline shots during an exhibition game when he throws a pick? All right.
Yeah.
Great.
No, because you're looking for an opportunity, and some
Yeah.
guys know it's like just get me on the field. I just need a couple of plays to show what I can do.
Yeah.
So, what else did I hear? Oh, this was interesting. In terms of football, I was listening to Mark Schlereth, former Bronco, who's obviously broadcaster, analyst for Fox and everything, but he made a very good point. He was talking about during one of the times he had a surgery. He was out for a couple of games, and he had like a billion surgeries throughout his career. But one of his teammates was Steve Atwater, who's now a Hall of Fame safety that played for the Broncos for years. He's my second favorite behind Elway. But what Schiller said that was interesting is he goes, normally when I'm playing and I'm on the sideline and the defense is on the field, he goes, I'm not watching the game. He goes, I'm talking to teammates. I'm preparing for the next drive. I'm talking to the offensive coordinator, the offensive line coach. Like, we don't have time to watch the defense. But he said, I had a chance to sit back and just watch a game on television. And he goes, it was a pleasure to watch Steve Atwater play football because I'd never seen him play, really, because I don't watch when I'm on the sideline. And he goes, I was blown away at how good he was, how hard he hit, and the type of leadership that he showed to his teammates out there on the field. So he actually went and found him after the game the following week at practice and said, dude, I just want to let you know I watched you play and I focused on you. You're unbelievable. Isn't that crazy in football? Like, depending on where you are or what position you play, you're focused on one thing. So you don't always get to see all aspects of the team. I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, it's funny, too, how often you'll see, like the quarterback, but other players, too, when they come off the field, they go right to the bench, sit down, either take some oxygen or some water, whatever. And if they watch, they're watching on the replay screen, on the big screen at the end zone or up above, and they're not even standing on the sideline where they can actually see the game. So they're not getting a great look at the game while they're in the game. It's amazing.
No doubt. The one thing that's really going to be fun to watch about the Bears, they're not your traditional horrible team with the number one pick.
Yeah.
They made a sweet trade with Carolina, which gave them access to the number one pick in this year's draft. That was Carolina's pick, but because Carolina wanted to get up and get a quarterback in the previous year, that gave the Bears access to number one. So he's joining a team that's got a lot of talent in different position groups on the team. They got playmakers at receiver. They got tight ends. Their offensive line's getting better. They got some guys on defense. Like Caleb Williams has got a chance to go out there and have a lot of success this year. And he doesn't play in a overwhelming division. They got Green Bay and they got Minnesota. Those teams are decent, but they're not great. So I think Caleb's in a good spot to go out there in year one and have success. I would be stunned if he doesn't turn out to be a superstar. Like, it would blow me away. So I'm anxious to see how he operates. You know, how I like watching guys who are great in college to see how well they transition to the NFL because it's such a, I mean, you know, this is a different game. The speed. And then Caleb's young. You know, a lot of your teammates in the NFL, all of a sudden you're playing with grown men with families who've been in the league for 10 years. Locker rooms in the NFL, it's a different ball game. So I'm looking forward to it. But hopefully the Bears, well, they're the Bears, so they'll probably get jinxed by Hard Knocks, and it will be a horrific season for Caleb Williams. There's certain franchises you just know that even when it all looks right, it's going to go wrong. The Jets are at the top of that list. The Bears not far behind. Like, there are some franchises that never seem to get out of their own way. But maybe the Bears, now that they got Caleb Williams, can finally start that trajectory to go to a place where they've been desiring to go for so long.
I do think it's fair to expect him to last longer on the field than Aaron Rodgers did last year.
Yeah, a couple of plays and he's out.
He'll probably last a little longer than that.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Dallas. I want to go back to Luka for a moment. We talked about all the things that he does well with his scoring ability, his vision, his strength. What's his weakness? Is it defense?
Yes, it is. And part of it's due to his size. You know, a guy of that size has those advantages on offense, but it turns around, it flips on defense because he's going to be slower than the people he's guarding for the most part, unless he's defending. What they like to do is put him on somebody else's small forward or even power forward who's not a scoring threat. So he can just go stand and guard the guy standing in the corner.
Yeah, too bad Derek Jones Jones Jr. doesn't play for the Celtics, they can put Luka on him.
Yeah, but that's his problem. But I give him all the credit in the world because he's trying now. I'm not sure a couple of years ago whether he was even trying.
Well, it's not just him, but Kyrie as well. Kyrie's not a great defender, but you mentioned that about Kyrie and Luka, at least out there giving an effort, right?
Mhm.
Trying to make it work defensively.
Yeah.
That obviously comes from the coach, but doesn't that make a difference? Even if you're not a great defender, if you're out there doing everything within your power to be a better defender within the team concept defensively, isn't that, I mean, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, I hear people talk all the time about, well, defense is just effort. Well, it's effort, but you better have some quickness, agility, all those things in the NBA if you want to. Yeah, in your high school, maybe it's just effort. But no, when you get to this level, it takes some real talent to defend people. You have to have so much physical ability to do that.
Well, go back to the Magic comparison. Magic was not a great
No, it
defender,
wasn't. Yeah.
but the Lakers had a great team defense. And, you know, a lot of times, I mean, even Bird's talked about this before, where Bird was a pretty good defender, but he lacked some of the quickness and athleticism against certain guys in the league. But with time and experience, knowing who's around you, can't you, like, filter your guy into other guys on the floor who can help you out? Like, if you got shot blockers out there, like understanding your team defense and working hard, but also knowing how you can direct your guy into traffic or a different guy that can help you out.
Yeah, Chad, I'm pretty sure that Luka's defense got a lot better the days that Lively arrived in the draft and the day that Gafford came in a trade.
That can
His
make your defense
got
better. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not as important now to seal a guy off on the perimeter because they have the shot blocker in the paint. And that makes a big difference, you know. So, yeah, I think that's certainly the truth. Magic was lucky with the Lakers because he had Byron Scott. And Byron Scott could take the toughest guy in the other team's backcourt. And then Magic could, again, go take a small forward who doesn't shoot the ball a lot or a point guard who's not an offensive threat.
All right. So, you know, in addition to the size they added with Gafford and Lively, you've talked a lot about their doubles and blitzes, you know, their scheme and what they're doing to help out defensively. What are you seeing there?
Well, their rotations have gotten so much better because they're aware of where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to do. And that's the energy part of defense is you've got to be able to double and then get to the open man. And it's not going to be where the next pass is made. It's going to be 2 passes away from that very often. You're out on top doubling somebody. You might have to get to the corner in the rotation. And that's why defense is complicated in the NBA. These teams have systems on how they're going to handle pick and rolls. They have 7 different ways of handling pick and rolls. And all of these other things that teams do, you have to know where you're supposed to be. And that's a huge part of it. The mental side of playing defense in the NBA is difficult for an awful lot of rookies to comprehend. They don't know where they're supposed to be.
All right. You and I both had our questions about Jason Kidd as a
Right.
head coach. How good could he be?
Totally admit that.
Yeah, me too. I doubted him. I didn't think he was going to turn out to be this good. And do you think this is just a case of a guy who obviously understands the game? We know he's smart and knows basketball, but, you know, through his first experience, he's learned, right? I mean, obviously we're seeing a guy who has learned on the fly and it's just gotten better. How do you explain the improvements that you're getting from him?
I would think that, number one, he's got better assistant coaches around him, which Dallas tends to do that. And then I think the other thing, Chad, your first job teaches you, when you're a former player, it teaches you, you know, I can't probably be as close to the players as I'd like to be. And I can't be their pal. I can't be their buddy. I got to be a little tougher. And he looks to me like now, and from what the players are saying about the way he is in practice about defense, he's nobody's buddy anymore. He's now toughening up on his players and demanding certain things. That gets results, especially if they respect you as a former player. They know you are willing to pay that price as a player. So he's able to sell that to his players.
Yeah, the buddy stuff in the NBA when it comes to coaching, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
It does not work. There's got to be that level of respect. And as a coach, you've got to keep that line in the sand, right? Because when it comes time to chew a guy out, you've got to be able to do that.
Yeah. Don Nelson, I asked Don Nelson how he got away with being so rough on his players, and his answer was simple: because they know I love them. And you have to show that. You have to show, I'm yelling at you because I love you. I want to help you. It's not because I hate you. It's because I care about you. And you have to make sure they understand that, or it's going to go in one ear and out the other, and they're going to rebel at a certain point. And that's happened to coaches in this league because the players don't respect what this guy stands for.
Yeah, and that's a problem. Okay, Minnesota, well, we know what their biggest issue is. It's the inconsistency of Towns, especially on the offensive end. It cost them in this series. But what I'm trying to figure out with Minnesota, is this like a flash in the pan, or is this a team that's going to be back next year knocking on the door again? They were one of the top teams in the West from start until finish this year. So I guess, do you run it back? I mean, do you want to tinker it? Do you risk tinkering what they have with the chemistry and the defense? Or do you just run it back one more year to see if this group, if this core can really get you to where you want to be?
That's going to be the conundrum for them in the offseason. But, they have Tim Connolly there as the GM, and he's the guy that was able to tinker with the nucleus in Denver and add those pieces that really helped. So there's a lot of confidence he can do that again. Now, I think, too, I would listen to trade offers for Karl Anthony Towns. I think you have to at least listen. You don't have to deal him. But what bothers me about him is his proclivity for fouling all the time, dumb fouls. That hurts you in a particular play when a guy makes a dumb foul, but it also hurts you because he's in foul trouble all the time, and you can't get full minutes out of him because he's on the bench all the time.
Yeah.
So that hurts. So I would be considering that. The other problem they have in Minnesota is Glenn Taylor agreed to sell that team to the group headed by Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Well, he's backed out of that, and he says he has a right to do it. I don't know if it's something that had been signed yet or what, but they still don't know in that front office who's going to own the team.
Yeah.
Now, Glenn Taylor has been a skinflint the whole time he's owned that team. He's a beloved guy. He's a good guy. Don't get me wrong. People who've worked for him swear by him. But he's not a guy that's going to say, let's go over the luxury tax this year. That's not him. But new owners very often could be talked into spending a little more money. And I think A-Rod would probably go for that.
How did David Kahn like Glenn?
He actually liked Glenn Taylor. He said nothing but good things about Glenn Taylor. And Rick Adelman coached for him for a while, and I remember him saying good things about him, too.
All right.
I think he's a good man.
Yeah, from what I heard on that story with A-Rod is he supposedly didn't have the money, right? That there were certain payments due to be able to buy the team, but he ran short on funds, and so I guess it fell through because of money, or at least that's what Taylor's saying.
Right. He's denying that, I think. What kind of struck me about that story, Chad, is how could you not have the funds? You could get the funds now, given the kind of income you're going to make off that team with the new TV deals and everything. That's a no-brainer. You can put $50 down and finance the rest, and somebody's going to give it to you because they know you're going to make good on the payments.
What I think, as much as I want to blame A-Rod because he's A-Rod, my thought is that Glenn Taylor sees the dollar signs.
I know where you're going. And he sees finally in Minnesota a good team. What do I want to do? Turn my back on finally getting a good team and walk out the door?
And if I wait, if this deal falls through, so to say, I can turn around and sell it for probably get $2 billion more on top of it.
Right. And that's the other thing about the deal. I know whatever A-Rod agreed to pay, it's worth more now than it was when he made that agreement.
Especially with these TV deals that are much bigger than what we thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
The other question would be, why does A-Rod still have the purple lipstick? It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. He did when he was in baseball, and he still got the purple lips. I think he wears lipstick.
I've never heard him asked about it.
He's dipping into J-Lo's stash, man. It's very bizarre. All right, we'll keep things rolling here on the Rip City Drive. When we come back, let me just ask one simple question. If you were going to go into a department store and they ask you to step on a scale to get your body weight, would you do it?
No, thanks.
I'm out. You got the Rip City Drive. Hey, what's going on? Rip City Drive with Dwight and Chad. You sent this over to me today, Godfather, and I want to read this because it sounds crazy, but apparently Ross over at Lloyd Center, and yes, it's still open, they've got a way that they're trying to deal with theft. And a lot of retailers are dealing with this issue right now. We've talked about Target, where you go in and a lot of the things that you want to buy now are under lock and key.
Yeah.
So if I want my vitamins or if I want my Tide Pods, you got to go and you got to ring the buzzer and wait for someone to come over and open up the case for you so you can get your stuff. It's annoying, but I understand why they're doing that because these businesses have been losing, millions of dollars in merchandise. So that's part of the issue. But Ross is taking it to a different level. This is coming from Tara Fall on X. She said, when you shop at Ross in Portland, Lloyd Center, they have a guard who weighs you on the way in so they can weigh you on the way out. I wonder how much longer they're going to stay there. So there you go.
God.
Can you imagine that?
No, I can't. No, I frankly, I wouldn't do it. And I'm pretty sure a whole lot of other people wouldn't do it either.
Yeah. Most guys that I know of probably don't care too much about if someone knows how much they weigh. That would be my guess. But my guess would be the majority of females do not want to stand on a scale so some security guard that they don't know can know how much they weigh before they go into a store.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it. Like, I've reached a point where I just don't want to deal with aggravation in my life. So if I roll up on a store and they're asking me to get on a scale before I go in to shop, I'm just going to turn around and go the other direction. I'll go somewhere else to get what I need to get. I'm not going to stand on your scale. You're not going to weigh me. You're not going to know how much I weigh. I don't even like going to the doctor when they make me stand on the scale because I'm all dressed in my clothes. So I've got
it's not fair.
No, I've got like 8 to 10 pounds of gear on. I stand on the scale, so it's not even giving a proper representation of my weight. I hate that. And I'm not even a big fella, but I don't like it because I know what my weight is. I'm pretty anal about that kind of stuff. So I hate it when someone takes my, puts me on the scale with clothes on.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do it when I go into a store. I can't imagine, how often, weight's one of those things where, how often do you, hey, Nancy, how much do you weigh? Never?
No.
What would your wife say? What would Nancy say if she rolled up on a store and ma'am, we need you to step on this scale before you go in? She would say, no way.
Absolutely, she would.
Yeah.
I don't know. I sympathize with their problem, but I don't know that that's the best way to handle it.
My mom would never do that.
No. But like I told you earlier, too, it's easy to get around. Now, this is just my criminal mind, I guess. But if you're going to steal something, just put 5 extra pounds in your pocket when you go in.
Yeah.
It's just garbage stuff. And then when you get inside the store, throw it in the garbage can. And now you got 5+ pounds to play with on your shoplifting exhibition. So you just steal 5 pounds worth and head on out. You're fine. Maybe it's 4 pounds and you tell them you lost a pound.
That's actually pretty interesting. You could do that. You could strap extra weight on and then just match it out. Take it off, ditch it in the store, and then equal out that difference with merchandise. That wouldn't be too hard to do.
No.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I do think it would be awesome I think for myself, it would be nice if certain restaurants had scales that you had to step on when you leave. That way it would shame me into being better and making sure that I'm in control of my eating habits. Like last time I went to El Gaucho with my guys over in Vancouver, I wish they had a scale because I wish I would have done a pre-weigh going in and then taking the weight on the way out to know how much I ate. To know, because I felt like a moo face when I left El Gaucho because I don't usually overeat, but I overate that night.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. But I would love to know how many pounds I put on during that 4 hours as I was hanging out in El Gaucho.
So you say they have a scale, and it would be optional just for your own personal information if you wanted to know what it was.
Yeah, I would like to do it. I think that would be fun to do that. But I'm not going to the store. There's no way I'm doing that. There's certain things I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not stepping on your scale. You're not weighing me. I'm not going to have a security guard write down my weight. It's never happening. I'm just going to go elsewhere. Sometimes you just have to look people in the eye and say, put an egg in your shoe and beat it.
Yeah.
And this would be one of those times. This is the real problem here is that this is what happens when you have a city that's run by buffoons and our businesses are not protected.
Yeah.
And now businesses have to go to the extreme to protect their property and their goods. That's really what's going on.
Desperation move.
Yeah.
No question.
I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
They don't get protection from the government that they're paying taxes to protect their stuff, so they have to go to the extreme. And who was the ad wizard that came up with the scale idea, by the way?
I don't know, but
Hey, guys, I got an idea. We should put a scale in there and have the security guard weigh them on the way in and on the way out. That will protect our stuff.
oh gosh. But she said in the tweet, I think the last line was, "I wonder how long they'll be there." It's like this is the last move you make before you just pull out of Portland, Oregon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've wondered too, even with Target or some of these places that are locking up their goods, how many people just stop going to those stores now?
Yeah.
See, this all goes back to you and I becoming more avid online shoppers.
Mm-hmm.
Why deal with the aggravation when you can just fire up Amazon Prime and have it delivered right to your door free shipping?
Yeah. You can even get pretzels that way.
Oh, yeah. The bag, by the way, it's now open. And I counted out 15 pretzels for a serving. It took 46 minutes before I opened up the bag. You got me. It came open sooner into the show than I thought it would.
Yeah, I've got my bag. I just going to keep it in here. I hide it so that the morning guys don't get into it. But, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting on a scale. Nice try, Ross. Like, I would laugh. Like, wait, you want me to what?
It's the last thing
Sir,
I'm doing.
we need to weigh you. No, you
Scales
don't.
have been my enemy for decades.
All right, we'll keep things rolling here on the show. Rip City Drive with Dwight and Chad. When we come back, we're going to talk about a little music and some of the most streamed songs on the internet. All right, what's going on, my friends? The NBA Finals are set. Mavericks and Celtics. Game one will be Thursday. Tip-off at 5:30 on ABC. Boston, a 6.5-point favorite in Game one. Here's Luka sharing his thoughts on the Celtics.
I mean, they're the best team in the NBA. They had by far the best record. They have some incredible weapons on offense and defense. So we're gonna have to play really hard and amazing basketball to beat them.
Yeah, according to reports, Kristaps Porzingis is getting better, but no word on when he'll return. Oregon State will kick off the Corvallis Regional tonight against Tulane. Pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6 on 1190 KX. Your home of the Beavs. Mike Parker on the call. Softball World Series, 2 elimination games. Getting ready to kick off. Alabama and Duke, followed by Stanford and Oklahoma State. Coverage starts at 4. Both games on ESPN. More of the Rip City Drive with Dwight and Chad coming at you right now. All right, Rip City Drive with Dwight and Chad. Mike Oakes jamming some good music today. Next hour, we got a 4-pack of tickets that we're going to give away for the Portland Thorns, and we have a 4-pack of tickets for the E-Pre race, which is coming to PIR. The weather's spectacular today, so hope you're enjoying it out there on this Friday. The golf tournament is tomorrow.
Yes.
Shotgun start at 1 o'clock out at Willamette Valley Country Club. So I hope they're excited for me to arrive on scene because I'm looking forward to the day. It's going to be a lot of fun to be out there with Nancy.
Yeah, she's looking forward to it, dude. I'm just begging you guys, stay relaxed, stay loose.
She has been texting
No
me
pressure.
a lot of encouraging things throughout the week, which has been nice.
Oh, good.
So I know she's excited. So I'm looking forward to it. And you're going to be out there too, just chilling in your pimped out golf cart.
Yeah, well, I'm going to let you guys get going a little bit. I'm just going to stay away for a while and then just sort of take some sneak peeks, and then I'll follow you along for the last few holes probably.
That's perfect. I'm looking forward to it. So that's tomorrow. I was fortunate enough to have Dwight's wife, Nancy, reach out to me and ask me if I wanted to take part in the tournament. I was like, yeah, I can do that. So we're going to play together, and that's tomorrow and on Sunday. The weather on Sunday is looking a little bit shaky right now, but we'll have an earlier tee time, so we'll see how things work out. All right, I want to talk a little music with you. I came across the list of rock artists with over 1 billion streams or plays on Spotify. And, I think it's an example of, how great music stands the test of time. And I'm wondering if certain songs that we know and love and that other people know and love, certain bands that are just great, are people going to listen to their music forever? Because it sure feels that way, right?
Yeah, it does.
Certain stuff just stands the test of time, so I want to touch on that. In fact, let's take a look at that list. These are the songs, and if you have a thought on one of these songs or something comes across your mind, let me know, Godfather. But Queen. And Queen popped up on this list with multiple songs.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
And keep in mind, they haven't put out a new album in decades.
Yeah.
Decades. Bohemian Rhapsody has 2.19 billion plays on Spotify. Not a surprise, right?
Oh, no, not at all.
Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit, 1.68 billion plays.
Oh, that surprises me they're that high.
And I would say for me, for that particular song, that would be my favorite Nirvana song. It's one of those songs that stands the test of time. When I listen to it now, it still sounds fresh and new, and the energy in that song is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate, like Cobain, like a lot of artists, life derailed, and it's tragic that he took himself so soon because think about all the great music that was still inside of him.
Yeah.
That he could have continued to put out. So Nirvana's on the list. Queen, Don't Stop Me Now, 1.6 billion plays. That's a lot of songs.
Sure is.
Journey, Don't Stop Believing, 1.6 billion, not a surprise. Queen, another one bites the dust, 1.57 billion plays.
Gosh.
So Queen is all over the place. Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine, 1.5 billion plays. Toto, Africa, 1.4 billion plays on Spotify.
Yeah.
The song that no one in the band liked and did not think it would be a hit turned out to be their only number one song. And now it's got 1.4 billion plays on Spotify. Explain that one to me, Godfather.
Can't.
Queen, Under Pressure, 1.3 billion plays. Hotel California Eagles, 1.3 billion plays. Back in Black by AC/DC,
Oh, yeah.
the song that played at every single party I was ever at in high school. It has 1.295 billion plays. Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, that's a great song, 1.2 billion plays. And the list goes on. Bon Jovi's on the list. AC/DC's got multiple songs. Metallica's got multiple songs. Red Hot Chili Peppers have multiple songs. I mean, what do you think that is about that era? And why Queen? Do you think it's because their music is not diluted because they haven't put out an album since Freddie Mercury passed away?
I was just going to say that, Chad. It's because there is no new stuff. With some of these other people, it's diluted because people are saying, well, what have they done lately? Let's grab something newer than that. So, yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you're one of those bands that only puts out 4 or 5 albums all time,
Yeah.
and then you break up and you're right in the middle of that hot streak, maybe your music is so good that it's going to continue to stand the test of time. But if you're continuing to put out albums year after year after year and you don't have the big hits or the smash hits or the legendary music, I mean, I guess your catalog to a degree would get watered down to where it gets lost in the mix.
That's why I'm kind of surprised that you didn't say Led Zeppelin.
I do not see Led Zeppelin on the list
Huh.
for Spotify. My guess is that if they're not at a billion, the list doesn't go into, the hundreds of millions. But my
Right.
guess is Pink Floyd's in the mix. There's no question about it because they're unique and they haven't put out an album in decades. But what do you think it is? What makes a song stand the test of time? Do you have any idea?
Oh, part of it is the new stuff isn't good enough to crowd them out of that spot.
Yeah.
Because there's many more downloads going on now and more people are doing it now. You'd think they'd be looking for new stuff to download. Of course, maybe they're downloading it somewhere else too. I don't know how that goes. See, Chad, you know what? I have my own music that I got a long time ago in my library, and I very seldom see the need to download something to add to it. So I have my own stuff.
Yeah, me too. Here is the biggest Spotify playlist reach, some of the bands that have a massive reach. Coldplay, 377 million. Imagine Dragons, 243 million. Fleetwood Mac, 187 mil. Queen, 181. U2's got 172 million. Bon Jovi's reach is 170. Aerosmith, 168 million. The Killers, Bruce Springsteen, Train, Arctic Monkeys, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Guns N' Roses, Toto at 141, Billy Joel, Bryan Adams, Foo Fighters at 131 million, AC/DC, and 20 on the list is Phil Collins, and right behind Phil is Journey, Mainskin, and Radiohead. So, a lot of the big acts that we know.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how the music industry has changed over the years now. And now we're in this digital age with the platforms and stuff. And these bands have new and different ways to be able to reach not just listeners, but new listeners, right?
Yeah.
The way that kids are accessing music that was made 30 or 40, 50 years ago, and it's new to them.
Yeah, and people are seeing it on YouTube too, which I really like because you actually get a look at the artist in most cases. It's a video where you see who's actually doing the playing and the singing. But I go back, what a wonderful time it was with Napster to get your hands on all that stuff for free.
Yeah, no doubt. Here is this song I mentioned the other day. This is James Ingram and Michael McDonald, Yamo Be There.
Yeah.
And this is one of those songs that's got the title where you're like,
what is that?
What is that? And what are they talking about there? Yamo Be There? Like, what did you think that meant, like, when you first heard it, Yamo Be There? Like, I'll be there? Or?
Oh, I do. I mean, it's slang, yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be there.
All right, so I mentioned the meaning behind it, so I found the write-up on it. And the actual spelling of the song title is Yamo Be There. YAHMOB, the letter B, and then there. Yah is a shortened version of Yahweh, which means God in Hebrew. So the title literally means God will be there. And it is interpreted as God be with you. Ingram and McDonald spelled things differently so they wouldn't scare anyone away. The title has perplexed people since 1983. Another fast fact, the idea behind the song was the religious teaching that nothing can save mankind except our Father in heaven. So there you go. That's the true meaning behind the song.
Yeah.
But they changed the name because they didn't want to scare people away who thought it might be.
Understood in today's world, yeah.
Michael McDonald's ridiculous.
They didn't spend a lot of time on lyrics here.
It's so good. What a great song that is.
Yeah.
I'm totally down with Michael McDonald.
Oh, yeah. How could you not be? Oh, man. Maple syrup.
It's so nice. Have you seen him in concert before?
Never.
I saw him.
I've seen some of his concerts on television, on video, but never in person.
Oh, thank you, James Ingram and Michael McDonald. So I've seen him twice. The first time was, I heard he was going to be playing at PGE Park. This is a long time ago. Dave Koz had some type of music festival there, and so McDonald was a guest. And so I stood right there on, what is the street that runs behind PGE Park? Is that 18th?
Yeah.
So I stood on 18th and looked over the gate and got to hear all the songs performed by Michael McDonald. So that was at no charge. I was very happy with that arrangement. And then he opened for Toto down at Spirit Mountain probably about 10 years ago. So me and my boy Steve went down and checked that out. So it was cool to see him by himself, at the keyboards with his, little band and, just see him singing up close. It was kind of nice. And he was very good with the crowd. And he's very unassuming. I don't think he recognizes what type of star he is. Like a lot of these guys, he just feels fortunate to be playing music and still performing at this stage in his life, which is cool.
And he is still performing, right?
He is. Yeah, he's with the Doobies right now. He reunited with
right.
the
He
Doobs.
went back.
Yeah, and they're out bumping around together.
They're touring still, aren't they?
They are. I think, and I saw a recent interview with those guys, and I think they're all surprised that they're still alive and survived the 70s and the 80s and the rock and roll lifestyle. But, yeah, they're having fun.
I would go see the Doobies with him singing with them for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's terrific. So there you go. These are the pointless things that I learn throughout the night when I'm stuck in YouTube mode. Because I'll pull up a song. I'm like, wait, what is that about? And then I go to different websites until I dig up on the details on it.
Is there ever a night when you're not stuck in YouTube mode?
No, it's an every night occurrence for me. And I love Carly Simon, too. I think I've been in love with her for a while.
That's because you're so vain. And you did think the song was about you.
Me, yes.
Yes.
I think, and she's intense. Like, she's very sexy and intense. I was reading an interview with one of her former mates, and he said that she demands total honesty and connection, and he said it's overwhelming. And I'm like, I can see that in her. So there you go.
Well, total honesty is not a big deal. I don't know about the connection part, what that means.
That's total honesty. I guess that depends on the guy, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. And interesting. But, yeah, she wrote songs with McDonald, too.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep things rolling here on the Rip City Drive. When we come back, we'll talk a little basketball, talk a little Luka. You can jump on board 503-248-0620. And then we're going to talk about our good friend Dakota, who's getting work done for the good people out there like Dwight. You got the Rip City Drive. All right, Rip City Drive, Dwight and Chad. Hope you're enjoying your Friday. We got a 4-pack of tickets for the Portland E-Pre race that we'll give away next hour, along with a 4-pack of tickets for the Portland Thorns. So just listen to us for your chance to win. Let's take a listen to Kyrie Irving, Godfather. Here he is talking about Luka Doncic.
7 minutes, and you're just watching a special performance take place. But as a teammate, you just want to continue to do the little things to bring the lead a little bit further along, and just continue to play well. We were happy where we were, but we weren't satisfied because we knew it was a long game. But when Luka starts off the game like that, I mean, we're a tough team to beat. So, kudos to him having a great series, a great playoff run in general, but just leading us that way and being able to kind of ease the tension a little bit and the emotions, starting off the game. You see our guy, Luka, scoring 20 like that. I mean, it eases everybody's pressure a little bit.
Doesn't even sound like the same guy. Like
No.
he's just in a good spot right now.
Absolutely. He's saying nothing but nice things about his teammates and about everybody else. Even guys on the other team, he was effusive in his praise for Edwards. He's a new man. That's all I can say.
He really is. I mean, you and I are probably a little more cynical now than what we used to
Probably.
be.
Yeah.
But is it possible that maybe after what Kyrie went through with the anti-Semitic comments, the stuff that he posted on his social accounts, and all the different things he had to go through with the commissioner and the NBA and reaching out to the Jewish community, do you think that maybe he just, changed, that experience changed him and he turned over a new leaf? I mean, is that possible?
I think it is possible, Chad, especially when you get a little more mature, you get a little bit older, you start thinking about the end of your career and what do you want to be remembered for and remembered by.
Mhm.
And I think that's when the narrative often gets changed. Even players who wouldn't talk to the media for years, towards the end, it starts to thaw out a little bit and they start realizing, is this it? Is this what I want to be my whole career? So they open up a little bit. And I think with Kyrie, it's like, yeah, I made some mistakes, but I can still right the ship. And this is the perfect platform because he's playing forever. He's gotten to the NBA Finals. All the attention on him now. I think he's rewriting his legacy right now.
All right, let's take a listen to Kyrie again. This is his thoughts on, earning a spot in the NBA Finals.
We had to earn our spot into the NBA Finals, and we had to go against some great opponents, OKC, Clippers, Wolves, and I feel like they got us better as a team. They really challenged us on the defensive end, made us focus in, and I thank every single one of them like I did the previous 2 series for making me better.
I mean, what do you think about that run that they made? What do you think about the guys that they faced? I mean, do you think it's a pretty legit group of teams? They went through the Clippers, and then they took out OKC and then Minnesota. Like, not a bad run for Dallas. Not the most difficult either.
The average team you play in the playoffs in the West is better than the average team you play against in the East. I don't think there's any question. I think they've played some good teams. I'll tell you what, they made it hard on themselves because they didn't make those teams look too good while they beat them. And that's people are going to downplay their series wins because they won pretty decisively. And so, yeah, I think their resume is legit.
All right, here's Luke, a little Q&A on, going into an opposing team's building and getting it done.
How would you describe that feeling to demoralize a crowd on the road in this situation?
It's a good feeling, man. I can't lie. Just go out there and, it's us against them. Just stay together. But that feeling is great.
And one other thing, here is Luka talking about Jason Kidd and how he, kept this group together throughout the course of the season.
He understands me and Kyrie's role because he's been in that role, so he helps us a lot. But everybody, he kept everybody together. We were down a lot, especially during the season. It was ups and downs all the time, but he kept us together.
All right, what's more impressive to you with Kidd? Is it the improvement of the defense or the fact that he's taken 2 guys in Luka and Kyrie that we didn't think would work, no one thought would work, and they now fit seamlessly together like they were meant to play together? It's mind-boggling to me. I thought it was going to be a complete disaster, like nitroglycerin. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, when that trade was made or when they got Kyrie, my first thought was two ball dominant point guards on the same team.
Yeah.
That ain't going to work.
No, how's Kyrie going to handle standing around without the ball in his
No,
hands?
and I honestly thought at some point Kyrie's going to probably have to go to the bench and be that guy off the bench like Westbrook has done, just because they both can't coexist on the court at the same time. But they have, and they've been dynamic. And again, all the credit in the world to Jason Kidd, who seems to be able to communicate with his players well enough to get his points across and to get the game played the way he wants it played. And what they've stumbled upon down there, and I shouldn't say stumbled because it was probably his vision, is Jason Kidd's coaching masterpiece so far.
Wow. That extension for Kyrie's looking like a bargain right now.
Oh, gosh.
He's been big in the playoffs. He was great last night. Yeah, Kyrie's been terrific. He's impressive. Like, I got to give him mega props. The two guys this year that stand out among all the guys in the NBA for being able to do the unthinkable, and I'll add a third guy in there. Obviously, Kyrie Irving and the way he's turned things around as a teammate, as a player, the unselfishness, he's been terrific. It's been impressive. James Harden going to the Clippers and taking on that role of point guard again, like we saw him do with success in Philly, being a willing passer, setting up his teammates, and he played terrific for them throughout the course of the season. And then Russell Westbrook. He actually took on a six-man role, went to the bench, and bought in. He actually accepted his role and played well in what the coach asked him to do. Three guys that I thought were insane and would not be able to pull it off, and it would be a mess. They did the exact opposite and performed well in their situation.
Yeah, and the question in those cases, Chad, you wonder too, how much credit does the coach get for that? You know, it's like Tyronn Lue. You know, he can make things work, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best coaches in the league, and he must have ways of getting to players to make them buy in.
And I guess it must, too. It's probably a combination of everything, right? Like, it's a little bit of the coach. It's also on the player for accepting his role and the buy-in, but also, I think, teammates, guys communicating amongst each other to get on the same page. That's not easy all the time for those guys because everyone wants their touches, everyone wants to eat and all that stuff, right? It's probably a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and you look at situations where teams have tried to build the big threes and the big twos and all that. Look at Phoenix, for example.
Yeah.
That's just not working. It hasn't worked, and they're going to run that back. And you don't see any sign that it's going to work.
What I don't understand is with some of these situations, how I wonder why sometimes the other stars in the league don't take a look at a situation like Dallas or what we saw with the Clippers this year and say, you know what? More of a team-oriented style of play is the best way to do this. So I don't understand why guys don't want to do that because you can still get your points and your touches that will get you paid, but yet have more success, which also brings more opportunities for you. Like, I don't understand why more guys don't see it that way.
Well, Boston's a great example, too. And you look at Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Either one of those guys, put them on a team without another all-star player. They'd be scoring huge, both those guys, because they're both one-on-one guys who can take the ball, score, get their own shots, all of that stuff. They'd be huge. But they both sacrifice for the other guy and for the rest of their teammates. And they play, by and large, they play team basketball in Boston. And that's been the big key to how many games they've won this year. They're the best team in the league.
It's impressive. I'm thoroughly impressed by Kyrie. I just tipped the cap. Good for him. Because now with what he's done, it's going to extend his career, and we're going to get treated to more games like we saw last night. Like, I like watching good basketball players, so I'm glad that Kyrie, who's a great player, is in a position where he's thriving now.
Well, I think he's probably as good now as he's been in his career, too. He has really cleaned up his game. Not as many wild turnovers, much smarter in the way he goes about his business in terms of getting shots at the right time, developing plays for others. It's a pleasure to watch him play now. It really is.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch Luka, because he's still young. He hasn't been in the league long, so he's also going through that process of learning. MJ had to go through that, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You've got to trust your teammates, Mike.
Yeah, and that was Phil Jackson's secret, is getting him to do that. And, of course, they didn't win until they got better players around him.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it himself. Nobody can do it by himself.
Yeah,
it just doesn't get done.
I watched Dave Corzine play basketball. I know why MJ didn't trust him. I get it. But you get some better players around him. And, for Dallas, they had to get aggressive to show Luka that they were committed to building something to where he'd have a chance to compete.
Mm-hmm.
And they went out and they got aggressive. We thought it was insane, but it's turned out to pay off. And now you can tell by the way Luka's playing and the way he's responding to his teammates that he trusts the guys around him. And with that trust, those other guys develop more confidence. Obviously, he's going to trust Kyrie coming in because he knows that Kyrie can play. But all of a sudden, you get, these younger guys like Gafford and Lively who come in and play extremely well. And he takes care of them by getting them lob passes. We've been waiting for a lob pass in Portland for like 10 years now, 15 years.
I know. Well, Andre Miller was the last guy that was good at it here.
There's an art to being able to throw a lob pass. Luka's got that down, and he knows how to feed those guys.
He throws them from half court.
On a dime.
Yeah.
That's quarterback type stuff right there.
Oh, for sure.
Where you can anticipate and be able to throw a ball up like that, knowing what your guy can do and can't do, and be able to put him in a position to score. And I've seen Kyrie do it multiple times in the series against Minnesota where he's working off the bounce, driving in, the defense collapses on him, and somehow he's able to flip it up towards the rim so Lively or Gafford can jam it down. Crazy. Like, if the Mavericks win the championship, it would be improbable like that run they had when they beat the Heat in the finals, too.
And that was kind of a one-off. You know, they got it done that year. And that was kind of it.
Do you think Dallas can stay around for a couple of years?
Boy, that's a delicate combination they have, relying so heavily on two players. You just never know. One of those two guys goes down or something happens or somebody gets mad at somebody. The whole thing goes up in smoke. It's hard.
That's why you got to capitalize on the opportunities when you got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the other thing we got to touch on tonight, I think it's 6 o'clock, 5:30 pregame on 1190 KX. The great Mike Parker will be on the call, which means that you get a big bag of surprises throughout the course of the night.
He's one of the best baseball broadcasters around, though.
Oh, fabulous.
He's a big league announcer working college games.
Mike Parker is a beautiful and fabulous man who's going to be on the call tonight. And Godfather.
And then is he horse-collared at the 8? Yes!
Oh, my goodness. This is a waste of humanity's time. Yeah. That ball's foul, Jim.
By 10 feet.
Yeah, that ball, what?
By 10.
Are they asking for, are Cincinnati asking for that to be looked at? Is that the deal?
Terrible call! And he ought to be teed up!
All right, so that's coming up tonight. Give me your quick breakdown on the Corvallis Regional, Oregon State and Tulane at 6.
Well, Oregon State's seeded number 1, Tulane seeded number 4 within that regional. The big threat to Oregon State probably will be UC Irvine, which has had a really good season, is a good ball club. They're playing this afternoon. They're in the 9th inning. And I'm sorry, I have to apologize. I can't remember who they're playing, but they're ahead 11-9 going into the 9th. This is a regional Oregon State should win. They are the best team in that regional, no question about it. And they've got to somehow win this and move ahead. I think if they win this regional, they would probably go to the winner of the Lexington regional, most likely Kentucky, which is, I think, the number 2 seed in the tournament.
UC Irvine and Nichols?
Nichols. That's right. Not Dimes, Nichols.
Nichols spelled Nichols.
Yeah, Nichols.
I got to be honest with you, never heard of them.
Really? I think it's Nichols State, actually, but I could be wrong. But, yeah, and they're pretty good. Nichols is okay. Nichols and Irvine are both good teams, and
I love their mascot name, the Nichols Colonels.
Oh, God. That makes a lot of sense.
That's pretty solid.
This is one of those things, though, Chad, where Oregon State has to win in the fewest amount of games possible. They have 3 really good starting pitchers, maybe not 4. You want to win this thing quick so you don't have to spend your whole pitching staff.
All right, so we'll see how things shake out. Mike Parker, just last week was getting warmed up. We're going to take a listen to this.
Let's go.
I'm going to play this off the desktop, Oaks. This is Mike Parker, just being Mike Parker, the best of the best.
20 and 21 in the 2 games at Stanford in the playoffs in '82. Trotsky takes high and in. Oh, my goodness! No! No!
There goes the headset.
Wow.
That's terrible! That is terrible! That is terrible!
3 no's and 3 terribles.
I'm telling you that he took the pitch high and inside for ball 3, and it was called strike 3 on Jay Ventrosky. And you heard me, and I apologize, but not too much. Travis Bazzana takes a strike, and the count 0-1. I mean, I'm just simply writing down takes high and inside ball 3, and all of a sudden I see Steve Mattingly ringing Trosky up.
Yeah, try that next time your wife gets upset at you. Say, I apologize, but not too much. I just want to know how that flies for you.
Well, he did come back and sort of apologize later, didn't he, Chad? Didn't he come back?
He did. He came back with a later apology, but it was pretty I labeled it here. It's called a fake.
Maybe the second time this year I've gotten that upset, but
Doubtful.
for those of you who may have seen it, even though it's still, whether justified or not, it is incorrect and boorish behavior. I'm sorry, but it was bad.
Boorish
Boorish behavior.
Mike is the best.
Boorish behavior. Mike, I've got to disagree. That's the exact behavior we want from you at all times on the broadcast. It's excitement, and it's awesome. It's pure passion flowing through your veins.
I love how he puts the headset down, and you can hear it being put down on the desk.
Yeah.
And then I think he moves a few feet away when he starts yelling.
I love that. No, no, no.
Trosky takes high and in. Oh, my goodness! No! No!
There's the headset right there. Plops it down.
That's terrible! That is terrible! That is terrible!
There you go. That's what he thinks about that ump. And based on what we've seen was Angel Hernandez on that game?
No, I don't think he was, Chad. I don't think we're going to be seeing him on any games anymore.
And it would seem that that's the case. All right, we'll keep things rolling here on the Rib City Drive. When we come back, a big shout out to our main man Dakota with Guiled golf carts. They're
Correct.
the best.
That's right.
Custom made. Taking care of my man, the Godfather. And I've been told several times, Godfather, that in terms of sports trips, the one to Omaha for the College World Series is a must. Kerry Agers was telling me how nice it is. I've heard from multiple people who have been to it. How nice is that complex there in Omaha?
It's terrific, Chad, and everybody has told you the right thing. I've made a million trips to all kinds of great sports things. Omaha is right towards the top of my list. It's a great tournament to watch because the players. I mean, College World Series. Those players are really talented. I mean, you're seeing a lot of major league players out there, and I really enjoyed it. They built the ballpark just for the College World Series. I mean, which is amazing. They have a AAA team in Omaha. They don't play in that ballpark. They play in a different one. That's how special that field is. And I think they have I think the Big Ten tournament might be there. I'm not sure, but it might be there. There are conference tournaments there, but it's mostly for the College World Series, and it's beautiful.
That's perfect. All right, so Nancy told you get the golf cart charged up because she was going to use the cart to save her legs a little bit for the tournament this weekend. You, of course, have a custom-made golf cart, which is awesome. It's Carolina blue.
Yeah.
And you got it from Guild Golf Carts.
Guild Golf Carts.
Is it Guild?
Yeah, it's spelled Guild.
Dang it.
No, that's a tough one. And I think they probably have to correct people all the time. But, Dakota Guild runs it, and he and his sister started this company. This is what I like about the company, Chad. It's local. These local young people started this company with, like, nothing going on. And it's now stretching. They got a showroom in Las Vegas. They got one in Seattle. They're expanding all over. And, of course, we've had Dakota on the show because he's, like, Portland's most interesting man. He sold golf carts to Dave Roberts of the Dodgers and Deion Sanders and Chauncey Billups, Don Staley. And he let his sister go on that trip to deliver that one.
Oh, Don Staley got one too.
Yeah. Some huge names in sports have. I think Kevin Durant might have one too. I'm not sure, but he sells them all over the country. But and I'm not getting paid to say this. I just like these kids, and they do a great job.
Dakota's awesome, by the way.
Oh yeah, you met. Here's the thing, Chad. I needed some work on I think I might have done something that kind of messed it up a little bit, but their service is unparalleled. That's what I like about them. They listen to their customers. There's great communication. If they say somebody's going to come out to work on it, they're there on time. Or they text you and say, going to be 5 minutes late, whatever. At least there's no mystery in it, no 4-hour windows on when they might be out there.
Yeah.
It's just a great company, and they're good to work with. And what I like is the golf carts are not as expensive as you could buy somewhere else. They cut the price. They're custom any way you want them. We have a guy out at Willamette who has a Utah golf cart. It's red. It's got their logo on the front. My next-door neighbor, Mitch, he's got the Green Bay Packer golf cart, the green one with all the Packer stuff on it. You can get them done any way you want, and they're terrific, and they run great.
And you got the shed. You've got a shed right next to your garage that's specifically for the golf cart. So you pull it in there, and then are they the ones who set up the charging pack? Or was that somebody else that did that?
No, somebody else. One of my neighbors, Dan Chu, built the barn for it. But no, they set up the charger, all that stuff, and they make sure it's satisfactory. They don't want to leave until everything works perfect. And we love the cart. Sometimes we'll just jump into it at night, go up to the club and have dinner or something. It's a lot of fun.
It's just fun to watch Dakota and his family living out their dream.
Yeah.
Based on an idea that they came up with after getting a few bucks after graduation from their pop, right?
Yeah, and it was a great idea. So it's like, well, let's buy reconditioned golf carts. Let's get them ourselves, recondition them so they're like new. And they're like new. Everything is pretty much new on them. And then they decorate them whatever way you want them. It was a genius idea. And actually, I bought mine for about half of what a new one would cost. They're great. And you can buy them up from country clubs at fleet prices. They sell you.
You get like 25 cents on the dollar.
Probably.
I think that's what he was telling us is that, these country clubs or these golf courses that they'll buy, when they buy a new fleet, they got to get rid of their other cars. So he'll step in and buy them because he knows he's going to recondition them anyways.
Yeah.
And he can dial them up however you want them to be done.
And there's not much to them. It's not like a car or anything. There's not much that you have to replace to make them like new. So I don't know. I'm really happy with them. And I like to say good things about local companies and local people trying to make it. And I'm especially fond of entrepreneurs, especially at a young age. It's great.
Where did we see Dakota? We saw him at El Gaucho.
Yeah, we did.
We sat down for dinner, and then you looked over and you go, I think that's Dakota. And then I went over and introduced myself.
Yeah.
And he gave me his number, and then shortly thereafter, we got him on the show. But he's played like this guy. He knows everybody.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about low level. We're talking about all the big names. He's always playing golf or hanging out with some dope athlete. That's just what he does, man.
Yeah, he's actually played a lot of golf with Chauncey Billups, I think.
They're boys.
When I see him in a Blazer game, he's seated about 2 seats away from Chauncey. I know that. He's got that seat down there in the front row between the players' bench and the media table down there. He's got a life, I'm telling you. Remember we had him on 2 days after we saw video of him at courtside?
Oh yeah.
When Kevin Durant got into it with somebody, right?
Yeah, and he was giving us some details on what was said.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when Durant had somebody escorted out of Moda, maybe.
No, it was a road game, and Durant had words. Was it the owner of a team or something? Somebody. He had words with somebody on the side.
You're right. Now it's coming back to me. And Dakota was there and heard what was going down.
It's right there.
It's hard to remember because Durant's had words with a lot of people sitting courtside.
Yeah, Dakota doesn't get seats in the third balcony. He's always courtside. He's amazing. And he's like, I don't know, what did I say he was, 22 or 23 years old?
He's just a kid.
Yeah, he's running this company and going all over the country, meeting famous people. He had breakfast with the manager of the Dodgers, Dave Roberts, in his house. He went over to deliver a card or something, and there he was having breakfast with him. He's just got a knack for people liking him. And
Dave Roberts seems like a cool guy. I would like to hang out with him, too.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Dave. It's his birthday today, I believe.
Oh, it is?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. Like, Giants fans hate the Dodgers, but even they love Dave Roberts.
Sure.
Was with the organization once, but he said that's the type of guy he is. Super nice. Dodger fans just hate him because they want him. They hate the pitching changes, but it's not Roberts' decision. It's the way the organization operates.
Yeah.
Which you and I don't like. It's like at some point you should be able to use your gut as a manager. Why is he making all that money? All right. Good work, Dakota. All right. We'll keep things rolling here. Rip City Drive with Dwight and Chad. We have a Bo Nix update, which is coming up at 5:20. When we come back, we'll give a finals preview, and we got a 4-pack of tickets for the Thorns. Yeah, what's up? Chad here, now 5 o'clock. Hope you're enjoying your Friday afternoon. The finals are set. Mavericks and Celtics. Game one will be next Thursday. Teams will get plenty of rest. Tip-off will be at 5:30 from TD Garden in Boston. The Celtics are 6.5-point favorites in game one. According to reports, Kristaps Porzingis is getting better, but no word on when he's going to return to the court. Oregon State will kick off their Corvallis Regional tonight against Tulane. Pregame at 5:30. First pitch is at 6. It's on 1190 KX, your home of the Beavs. In the softball World Series, there are 2 elimination games today. And I'll have the scores here for you in just a second. Right now, Alabama and Duke are tied at 1 end of the third. And then at 6:30 on ESPN, Stanford and Oklahoma State. Has your wife ever talked to you about her love language or your love language or anything like that?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, I now know what Michael Allen Harrison's love language is.
What is it?
Packer golf cart. You're talking my love language. So Michael Allen
Really?
Harrison's a big Packer fan.
Okay, Michael. Guiled Golf Carts. Give them a call. They got a great showroom. You'll see what they do, and you'll be sold on it.
They could probably even shape it in the form of a block of cheese for if you want. You could be driving that thing down the course.
Or it could be a piano-shaped golf cart. You never know.
That'd be dope too, man.
It would.
Yeah, look at my
Yeah.
golf cart. It's shaped like a 10 grand or whatever they call that. A baby grand.
Baby grand.
That's pretty awesome. What were those motorcycles those dudes were riding around at the course last time I was out there?
That's a big deal now at clubs. You really can't, you don't use them at a public course because you'd have to haul it around. But, yeah, they look like a motorcycle.
Are
But
those electric?
yeah, they are. They're electric. And but guys like them because you're allowed to drive them places that you can't take the cart because they only have 2 wheels and bigger tires so they don't have the impact
And they're
on the
not as
grass.
heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just think they're a problem when the weather gets lousy. At least in the cart, you got a roof over your head.
Yeah.
And those things, not so much.
I've seen some old dudes rolling around in what do they call those things? A Sedgwick or what are those?
Segway.
A Segway.
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 Yeah.
Sedgwick. Segway.
Yeah, I've seen those too. Where they
with
have
the golf, where they have the clubs in there attached to
Yeah.
the Segway, and they're bumping around the course.
Yeah.
I may transition to that when I'm old. I may do that just for the heck of it. I just thought those motorcycles those dudes are rolling around on was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think they are. They're getting to be pretty popular. I'm guessing they're probably significantly cheaper than a cart would be my guess.
I mean, I walk because I want the exercise,
Yeah.
but I can understand why, if you're older, why you don't want to walk 18 holes because, you get tired. And when you get tired, how it works in golf, your swing breaks down.
Yeah, no kidding.
I should do that. I should call up Dakota and get a John Elway golf cart. Have number 7 on there. He could pimp it out big time.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably already prepared a golf cart for John Elway, I would guess.
It's possible.
It's
yes.
quite possible. But, yeah, that would be pretty cool.
You'd have to get a trailer, though, to haul it around to all the courses you play
I
on.
know. Yeah, that would not be cool.
Yeah.
But if you're on a course, for you, it makes perfect sense to have a cart
Yeah.
because you can pull it out. You got your gate, you open it up, and boom, you're right on the course, and you can just motor on over to the clubhouse.
Most people that live on the course have a cart.
So when you're at your crib and you're not going to play golf, but you and Nance want to roll down to the club, do you usually take the cart down?
Often we do, yes.
So either walk or take the cart. See, that's genius.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to head down to the hot tub or whatever you got to do in the morning, you just
Mhm.
roll in your cart down there.
Yeah, we can do that.
That's a pretty good deal.
It's very nice.
Now, does the dog like to ride in the cart?
The dog has only ridden once.
Not a big
he's
fan.
A little nervous in there, but I think we'll get there with him eventually.
See, I would love to take puppy shots to the golf course with me, but he's too interested in chasing rabbits and all the other
Squirrels.
critters that are rolling around. It would drive him insane.
Yeah.
But if I had a golf cart that I could zip up to keep him inside, but then he would whine and go crazy when I got out to hit a golf shot. He can't deal. The wiener dogs, God bless his soul. He's so wonderful, but they have separation anxiety. So if they know that you're going to leave or they can see you, but they can't be right next to you, he can't handle it. It's like, settle
Really?
down. Yeah, he just,
Gets nervous.
yeah, he's like my shadow. It's like when I get home, he's just on me the whole time. The whole time. And I love it because he's my little buddy, but I'm just like, how did you survive the last, 3 or 4 hours when you were sleeping and I wasn't there?
Do you take him for walks? Does he walk?
I do, but his favorite way to play, he does do walks, but the only thing about walks is that he pulls against the leash because he's off, he's sniffing for rabbits or whatever he's doing. And so I hate it when he pulls up against the leash. So I tried to get him one of those, what do you call it? The harness set, the harness leash where it's like hooked up to the body.
Right.
Well, he ain't down with that. So he just sits down like, I'm not going to walk with that on me. He won't do it. So he has to go the other leash. So he likes to do walks. But the best way to play with him is we go downstairs and I've got these squeakers, bouncy balls, and I've got 7 of them. And he goes bonkers chasing at. He loves it when I throw the balls and he chases after them. And I get his heart rate up, and we do that for an extended period of time. That is that's his jam. Now, when the weather's nice, like tonight, I'll take him out in the back, and we'll go outside and do the same squeaky balls. But that's a good way to, he loves it. It gets his heart rate up so he can keep his exercise. The good thing about him, he's an oddball when it comes to being a dachshund because his appetite is it's not like a normal dachshund. He doesn't eat a lot, so which is good because most dachshunds, most dachshunds will just eat until they die, right? If there's food in front of them, they'll just continue to shove it down their pie hole, not shots. And the problem is with wiener dogs, if they get too hefty, they can have back problems because they got the elongated body or whatever. But he doesn't eat too much, so but I actually have to play with him. I prepare his food, I put it down on the floor, and then I throw the bouncy balls around, and he chases after the squeakers, and then he'll stop, make a pit stop, and eat some food, and then we play until the food's gone. But I have to, in order for him to eat, I have to play with him. That's just what he does. It's very annoying. It's a high maintenance situation for a pup.
Yeah, see, our guy, Jack, won't chase anything. You can throw whatever you want, and he's not going to chase it. But we take him to the dog park. He gets out of the car and just takes off. He'll come back to us, but he just loves to run. It's amazing to see him. He gets out in an open field at a dog park, and I mean, he's going like a greyhound. He's flying.
I love watching that.
Gosh.
Wait a second. Didn't he run into some cows who had gotten loose out in Canby?
Yes, he did. Yes. He's also got this problem lately where he likes to roll around in
whatever he can roll around.
Dog poo, whatever. Yeah, so we have to take him right to the backyard, hose him down.
I hate that.
Use the shampoo.
I was reading up because Shots, I give him a bath. He hates it. He hates baths, but then he goes crazy, gets the zoomies and stuff and starts rolling around. Well, he likes to go out in the backyard and roll around in the grass and stuff. What I was reading up on that is that they don't, when we bathe our dogs, we like the way they smell after we put the shampoo on them and stuff. They hate that. They don't like the way it smells because they want to smell the way a dog smells, whatever that is. Yeah. That's why they go out in the back and start rolling around in the grass stuff because they're trying to get the good smell off of them. They don't like it. They're not down, Godfather. What's up with that?
Oh, God.
There you go.
Yeah, sometimes we give those dogs too much credit, too. We think that they have emotions, like really, like my dog's depressed. Well, throw them a bone or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll change their mood real soon.
Yeah.
All right, NBA Finals kick off on Thursday. I feel bad for the guys having to sit around and get plenty of rest. Jeez, NBA's waiting, so they don't play until Thursday. But, just like we saw with Dallas, they match up really well with Minnesota. I mean, if you look at Boston, first of all, they got the 2 long wings you mentioned before, and Tatum and Brown, 2 great defenders. They're great two-way players.
Yeah.
But on top of that, Derek White and Drew Holiday. It would seem to me that they have the ammunition to be able to deal with Luka and Kyrie, unlike any other team in the NBA.
Absolutely. I think so too, Chad. And they have good help defense. Like if Porzingis is in the lineup, then they have a good rim protector. And then they can, it just opens up so many things to them. And I think Drew Holiday is just, he's a terrific two-way player.
I
like him a lot.
Yeah.
And Derek White has turned into a really good player.
When they lost Marcus Smart, you wonder because he spearheaded their defense and he was terrific on that end of the floor. But when you get Drew Holiday and then you get
Huh.
the emergence of Derek White, who continues to play better, and then you add in Tatum and Brown, I mean, they can defend in so many different ways.
Yeah, and both of them are better offensively than Smart was. So a real plus. You trade him and replace him with one or two of those guys. It's like a big plus.
Also, you think the Celtics will have a chance to score because of their, I'm trying to think how you put it, varied offense? Like, what do
Yeah,
you see?
versatility.
Yeah.
A lot of people who can score. It's not like two people from Boston are going to hurt you. Obviously, Brown and Tatum are their best scorers, but they have 5 or 6 or 7 people who could score on you. They have people you can't leave alone, and they'll bury you with the three. I mean, they live off three-pointers, and they have the guys who can shoot them. And that's one of the reasons why they'll lose an occasional game they shouldn't lose, because they're just off from three-point range that night. But most of the time when they're on, it's really hard to beat them.
Okay, I'm starting to wonder if we're going to see Porzingis in the finals.
Yeah, me too.
He was supposed to play in Game 4 of the previous series, but he never made it. And now they're saying that he's improving, but no word is given on when he's going to play. I'm starting to think that they're full of it, and they know he's not going to play, but they're making it seem like he might play just to keep the deception out there. Like, what's going on there?
Well, they're trying to deceive him one way or the other. It's either that they're trying to make him think he's going to play and he's not, or they're trying to make it seem like he's not going to play, and then bingo, here comes the starting lineup in the first game of the series, and he's playing. Because remember, it's still like almost a week away from game 1.
Yeah.
It's next Thursday. So I think you say you're not sure about him until Wednesday, and then all of a sudden he starts appearing on the injury report as questionable or doubtful or whatever.
All right, we talked about Luka's greatness, and he's playing terrific basketball right now, but you can get him off his game. When teams have gotten him off his game, what do they do? How do you handle that?
Well, from one thing, Chad, and I shouldn't generalize, but I'm going to. He's a rather typical European player in that he's very emotional. He gets carried away. You see that with the referees all the time, where he just goes bonkers and kind of loses control. You can get under his skin sometimes.
Yeah,
you got to be
he
careful.
whines a lot.
Yeah, he whines all the time. You got to be careful because you make him mad at you, and all of a sudden he buries you with shots and scores a lot of points. But the fact is, you can frustrate him. He gets frustrated. And I think a word here, a word there, talking to him a little bit gets under his skin. But then I think you have to go at him and make him defend a lot. You have to make him guard. And that tires him out more, so he's not as effective on offense. And I think he gets a little frustrated with that when he knows, he's smart enough to know, they're coming at me. What is this about? How can they do that? But, he's vulnerable defensively.
All right, NBA Finals will kick off next Thursday. It'll be on ABC, and right now the Celtics are a 6.5-point favorite. You don't have to give me a full prediction yet, but what does your mind tell you about this series and where it might go?
Well, yeah, I can't help but thinking that a 5-man team most often beats a 2-man team, and that's really what we're talking about. And Boston's been the best team in the league all year long for a reason. That's their depth. That's their variety of players who can hurt you. That's so many things going in. The blend of offense and defense, because they're a really solid defensive team. They're good defensively, and their offense is outstanding. So I think it's going to be hard for Dallas to score with them. I mean, Dallas can put 130 up on you. I mean, Boston can put 130 up off you. I'm not sure Dallas against Boston can score that much.
All right, we have a 4-pack of tickets for the Portland E-Pre race at PIR coming up in June. If you'd like to go, we'll take the first caller through right now, 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. It's going to be June 30th at PIR. You can get your tickets at FIAFormulaE.com. The hand-cooked Portland E-Pre. We have a 4-pack of tickets. If you want to go, call now, 503-248-0620. First caller through will get a 4-pack of tickets for the E-Pre race at PIR on June 30th. When we come back, we'll dive into some football. We got a Bo Nix update and a situation going on with Shiloh Sanders. All right, Godfather, we have a mini Bo Nix update for you. And this involves Sean Payton and his
Of course.
analysis of his progress through OTAs.
That torrid love affair between coach and quarterback.
Yes, and it is a torrid one for sure. And Sean Payton, it's always interesting when you hear guys like Sean Payton who are fully in control, and they never want to give too much credit. Keep in mind, he comes from the Bill Parcells tree, right? So they never want to give too much credit because they want to keep pushing their guys to be everything that they believe they can be. Now, the weird thing about OTAs is that the media, there are some things they get to watch in terms of practice.
Yeah.
And then there are certain things that no one gets to watch because it's closed. And so Peyton was given his update on Knicks, and here's what he had to say. It's hard for me to refresh. It's hard for me to catch you up like on a Netflix series. You guys watch one episode, and then you miss 3. And then you watch one, and I'm trying to catch you up. But all 3 of the quarterbacks are doing well, specifically to Bo. He's doing really well. He's picking it up. There's a lot that's going in. He's throwing the ball extremely well. The word extremely is pretty funny to me. He could have just said he's throwing it well out there, but he said extremely well.
Yeah.
And Peyton is a guy who measures everything that he says.
Yeah, he throws compliments around like manhole covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thought process was last week because he was rotating in and out first-team reps with the other 2 quarterbacks, Stidham and Zach Wilson. And, like I mentioned before yesterday that, Bo was having, maybe a little bit of issues in terms of, just accuracy and getting a feel for things. But, obviously with each practice he gets better. But, every time we turn, it's Peyton gushing about Bo in some way or another, whether the way he throws the football, the way he's processing things, the way that he studies the playbook, the way he's picking up on things. He obviously is quite proud of where he's at today after drafting him. I just don't see any way that they're not going to start him to begin the year. None of that would make sense to me with Stidham and Wilson on the team.
No, I agree. It's a must. He's just setting the stage. He's building him up now to where, geez, he's got to start him now, right? Guy's throwing extremely well.
My thought would be this. What if he wasn't throwing it extremely well? What if Bo Nix was struggling? What would Sean Payton say right now?
I don't know. He might say he's throwing extremely well.
Yeah. If he were struggling, would Sean Payton say, yeah, he's struggling right now?
I think he probably will. I think he'd say that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's why I think when Peyton says he's throwing it extremely well, that he's gushing over him, which is, you don't hear that from Peyton very often.
Usually, even when the rookie is throwing it extremely well, you downplay it because you don't want to put pressure on him.
Yeah.
You don't want people to start demanding that he start if you're not ready to start him.
Yeah. Now, when Russell Wilson was in camp last year, Sean Payton was not gushing over Russ.
No. It was probably more the opposite.
Yeah, he wasn't exactly praising him.
No.
He was talking about, hey, we're making some progress. We're doing this.
Okay. He's learning the system.
Yeah, but there was no gushing. So that's where we're at. It's just interesting to hear Sean Payton. I think Payton, this would be my read on what I'm seeing so far from Payton in terms of how he's dealing with Bo. I think he believes that they scored on a quarterback in the draft, that they believe that they got somebody that's much better than what everyone else thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
And I think he can't wait to unleash him on the NFL. That's what it feels like to me, that he's excited about what he's got in Bo Nix. And for me, I'm all twisted up inside because I know that Sean Payton is smart and he's a good football coach and he's great with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But I also know that Bo Nix was the 6th quarterback taken in the draft. And most teams did not have him, top 3 on their board in terms of quarterbacks. So I don't know. The whole Bo Nix thing is wild to me. Sean Payton loves him. I love Bo. I just don't know what type of quarterback he's going to be. But these kind of comments are I chuckle at them because it's just funny to see Sean Payton be giddy about a player.
He's out of character when he does that.
Yeah, it's out of character. But for him, maybe, if you have a system and you know how you want your system run, and then you finally get a guy that's like, man, he's going to be able to do everything I need him to do, you probably would be excited. Like, that's exactly what I need. This is what we've been looking for.
Yeah, I think when you draft him and he's the 6th quarterback taken, that's part of your reason for drafting. It's like, I don't care what those guys can do. I know this guy can do what
Yeah.
I want him to do.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing, you know?
Yeah. And let's face it, other quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes wasn't the first guy taken in the draft.
Yeah.
He was taken down the line a little bit, and he's turned out to be pretty good. Lamar Jackson was not the top quarterback taken in the draft. Baltimore's doing pretty well with him.
Yeah.
So, you never know. We'll see. Like I said before, that it's just going to be fun to watch a smart player like Bo get a chance to work with a smart coach like Peyton. I'm just anxious to see where that goes, how it develops, how it unfolds. Because Nix is either not going to be good enough to be an NFL quarterback or he will be, but it's not going to be because he didn't work hard enough or didn't study enough
That's
or wasn't
right.
prepared. He'll be ready.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of being able to put it together and doing it out there on the field. So the work ethic is handled. He's going to give you everything he's got.
And I think he's fortunate. He'll be put into a system that fits his skills.
All right. We proceed. I'm sure we'll be getting more.
No, yeah, I'm pretty sure you go to great lengths to find him too. So do I.
But where do we go after extremely well? He's throwing it extremely well. Like what's he going to be saying come camp right before the season begins? Where's it going to go from here?
You almost have to skip over to perfect. He's been perfect.
He's been perfect. It's just all of this stuff is very fascinating to me. All right, I do want to talk to you about this because you sent it over to me, but it's a little bit bizarre. But there's a weird situation going on with Shiloh Sanders, the son of Dion.
The older son.
The older son. Not Shadur, but Shiloh.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, according to the report, he's been hit with a suit for, and I think he's got to pay $11 million in damages, right?
I think it's actually 13.5.
13.5.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And this all is stemming from a physical assault that took place a few years ago, and it was caught on videotape. And it was an altercation between Shiloh and another gentleman, and it's a big mess now. And it's led to Shiloh claiming Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
At 24 years old.
At 24 years old.
Yeah. And he's got money. There's no question because of his NIL stuff. He has money, but he certainly doesn't have enough money to pay a judgment like that. So you declare bankruptcy, and I don't know what that does to what he owes the man, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out through bankruptcy court and through the person he owes the money to.
All right. Here, this is out of the Athletic, and it was a piece put out by Christopher Camrani. And according to the report, it says here that Camrani put out, it says, according to court records in Texas and Colorado obtained and reviewed this week by the Athletic, John Darjean alleged that Sanders, then 15, assaulted Darjean during an altercation at AAA Academy in 2015, leaving Darjean with damage to his cervical spine and permanent neurological issues. Sanders has claimed in court records that it was Darjean who was the aggressor. Sanders' declaration of bankruptcy has brought into question his personal net worth in an era in college sports when athletes can cash in on name, image, and likeness rights. Darjean and his lawyers claim in court documents that Sanders didn't purposely disclose his assets when he filed for bankruptcy. They are still seeking to collect on the $11.89 million judgment he was ordered to pay after a March 2022 civil trial in a Texas district court ruled in favor of Darjean. Sanders failed to appear at the trial and claims in court documents that he could not afford legal representation at the time. A notice of new trial dates never reached him, and he did not learn of the default judgment until 2023.
Yeah, there's also allegations that Dion obtained further security footage from that academy and has disposed of it because it was apparently damaging to Shiloh. See, Chad, the way I see this is it's going to be difficult for a young man at that age to declare bankruptcy and then move on with life. And he's not destitute for sure because I looked up his father's net worth, and Dion is worth $45 million right now, and that will go up because he has a guaranteed contract paying him $5 or $6 million a year plus all the endorsements he does. He's a wealthy man, and My suggestion, and see, you can go the bankruptcy route, and it's not going to be a good optic with a guy who's been like partially paralyzed, apparently, having to chase this kid for the money when his father's worth that much. His dad could easily negotiate some settlement on that where I don't think he'd have to pay him the whole ball of wax, but he'd save the guy money by not having to go to court further and then just pay it off and move on. But fortunately for Dion, he's not bound to do that. His son is not a minor. Parents aren't liable for their adult children's debts. So it's an interesting situation, but I don't think it puts the Sanders family in a very good light. There's a lot of details out there that aren't specified in this story about the reason there was a fight is this man was a security officer at the school, and the kid was kind of a bully, but he was on his cell phone talking to his mother, who Dion is no longer married to, and was trying to get her to come get him from school because he hates the school. And apparently
It was Darjean trying to get him off the phone.
trying to get him off the telephone, and he wouldn't give up his phone. So that started the whole thing. And
So the judgment went against him because he didn't show up at court. That's what it
yeah, it
sounds
was
like.
a summary judgment of some sort because he just didn't show for it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Which, I mean, come on, that's not easy to. I mean, they remind you of things like that. You have official papers there.
Well, now that these college athletes are in a position where they're making some coin, they're going to become targets.
Yes, for sure. Once you have money, you're a target, no matter from online scams, whatever.
Court filings say Darjean has alleged that Sanders is worth more than the reported $320,000 on his bankruptcy filing. He believes Sanders transferred money into one of his two LLCs, Big 21 and SS 21. In his bankruptcy filing in Colorado last year, Sanders revealed he had a gross income of $193,000 in 2023, while netting $216,000 the year before in his last season at Jackson State. When I was that age, I was not pulling in over $200,000.
No, I don't think any of us were.
It also showed his liabilities, mainly the court judgment from 2022, an estimated $11.3 million. Among his claimed assets is a 2023 Mercedes GLE valued at $75,000. Necklaces valued at over $75,000 were later removed as assets.
He's the poor brother, though, because last I heard, Shador is rolling around Boulder in a Rolls Royce.
Yeah. Well, Shador is, he's going to be probably the top quarterback taken in the draft next year.
Yeah, his NIL's over $1 million a year, probably.
I'm just wondering why why do you think Prime didn't just step up and settle and just to get rid of it so it doesn't become a story?
Yeah, you don't want that dogging your kid around. I just think he's being cheap. They're trying to get out with not paying that kind of money.
They probably feel like, wait a second, this other guy was the aggressor. He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And you got hit with the judgment just because he couldn't make it or didn't show up at court. So they're probably just they feel like they're getting screwed here. So they're playing the long game and trying to get out of having to pay the judgment.
Right. And it's like, we have more money than they do. So let's keep it in court as long as possible.
And wait it out.
Make him spend the money for all his legal stuff. But he's probably got guys doing it, I would think, just for a piece of the action.
And that's quite possible.
When
too.
the judgment is that much money, you'll get somebody to say, yeah, I'll take it for 10%. So who knows? This might go on for a while. I don't know. I just wouldn't want my 24-year-old son having this hang over him if I had the money to take care of it.
Yeah, you don't want that following him around.
Yeah.
And, honestly, from everything I've seen from Shiloh, he seems like a good kid.
Yeah, maybe so. I wouldn't know about that. I do know that the father has coached them almost every step of the way, all the way to college.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes not the healthiest thing,
Yeah. That happens a lot more nowadays, right?
It sure does.
Yeah. Especially in the NBA, you get a lot of dads who are with their sons from day one, through the G League up through college, if that is the plan. And
they can coach that AAU team all the way through their high school team.
Yeah. And that's fine. If if son and father are on the same page and dad's got the best interest of the kid involved, then that can work. But at some point, I think in a lot of ways, maybe it's better if you break away and get, once you become a pro, maybe you break away from, the family and go out and get your own, to establish yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not saying abandon your family, but, sometimes because dad may not know as much as some of these big time pro trainers who specialize in this type of work.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say, too, that sometimes it's just better to get a taste of what the real world is like, playing for a coach that you have to convince you deserve playing time, that you're a good person, that you're a good teammate. It's a lot easier to convince your father of that than it is some strange coach who doesn't know you.
Yeah, and I think for Coach Prime, when you're the head coach at a big-time university making big-time money, usually the football coaches are the highest-paid players or employees in the state.
Mm-hmm.
These are the type of stories that don't play well, right?
Yeah.
So that's got to be, that's like you said, it's not a good look for the fam. Just not.
Just not. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they don't even take it seriously.
Well, I'm anxious to see how Colorado plays this year, in year number 2 of the system, to see how things continue to shake out. See what Shadur looks like. I like watching Shadur play. I think he's a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft next year, and I want to see him, continue to make strides moving in that direction.
Well, they better have some offensive linemen this year to protect him, because if he goes down as often as he did last year, he may not be in one piece by the time the draft
punishment.
rolls around.
Yeah, you don't want to take that type of punishment.
Yeah,
and he's not he's not tiny, but he's not the biggest quarterback either.
Yeah.
So, you wonder, like, how much punishment can he take? I appreciated his toughness last year because he had to stand in.
Oh.
But you saw as the year went along, any quarterback will do this. When your offensive line continues to break down, you're getting hit repeatedly, he started to drift in the pocket, right? Because you start to worry about the pressure because you don't trust your offensive line that's not doing a good job of blocking.
That's good reason for that.
Yeah, I'm drifting because these guys can't block.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll keep things rolling. We got some high fives to hand out. So we'll hand out some high fives, and then we're going to cruise off into the weekend, which is awesome. Is the rain coming in on Sunday?
That's what they're saying.
That sucks.
Atmospheric river, which means downpour.
I hate it when meteorologists get cute with their language like that. Just tell us we're going to get rained on.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Rain's
Especially at the beginning of June.
And it's going to come down hard.
All right, Rip City Drive. Boy, Mike Oakes is crushing it today with the music. Nice work, brother. I'm gonna jam this song on the way home. I haven't heard this in a while. All right, we have a 4-pack of tickets to give away for the Portland Thorns. They're going to take on Kansas City at Providence Park on June 23rd. So if you'd like a 4-pack of tickets, you can call now 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620. And first caller through will get a 4-pack of tickets for the Portland Thorns. 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620. Call now and get your Portland Thorns tickets. Let's get to the high fives. All right, Godfather, you got any high fives you want to hand out?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give one to not only Dakota Guild, the guy who runs Guild golf carts, but Owen, the tech he sent out to my house today. Outstanding. Really a good kid and on time, got his job done. He's great.
How do you think Dakota developed the business acumen to be able to do what he's doing right now?
Well, I'm guessing his father was probably a pretty good businessman in some way. Yeah, I don't know. He's a smart guy. That's all I know. I don't think he went to college though, and good for him if he didn't.
You know, it's funny. A lot of the big time business owners that I know, no college.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways to make a living in this country.
Yeah.
And sometimes that pathway does not lead through college, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Dakota is doing a lot better than I am.
Yeah.
I just love it when I see young people really pursue something like that, a passion or an idea or a dream and go after it. I think it's awesome.
Carving out a niche for themselves out of what who would have ever thought of doing that?
We're going to start a company to make custom golf carts.
Yeah. What?
How many people do you think thought, yeah, I'm sure that's a great idea. You should do that.
That'll work. Yeah.
But a lot of great ideas normally get met with a ton of rejection to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a lot of people like Sports Illustrated, when that idea first popped, people are like, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
No one wants a weekly sports magazine.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a smashing success for quite a period of time.
Well, one of his secrets, too, he doesn't necessarily do any of the work on the cards. He hires good people to do it for him. And I think that's a big business secret. Hire smart, good, outstanding people to work for you, and then let them do their jobs. Gosh, simple formula.
I'm going to hand another high five out to Nancy Salisbury.
Okay.
Your wonderful wife. She's getting a high five because all week she has been encouraging me. I'm excited to get out there on the golf course and play with her tomorrow and on Sunday. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, you guys are going to have a great time.
So, Nancy, I'm excited to see you tomorrow. I can't wait to get on the course. We're starting on hole number 9, and I am pumped. I'm ready to rock. We're going to go out there, and we're going to make magic happen.
You're going to have some fun anyway because it's a good tournament, good people playing in it, good competition.
I like the format, so this will be my first, and my goal is to perform well enough to where Nancy will invite me back next year.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if that's ever happened with any of her parties. Yeah, I think one person was invited back.
Because that's how you know, if you don't get the invite back, then you're like, I didn't get the job done. That's okay. It's like getting that second date. The first date's one thing, but
anybody can get that first one.
Yeah, but does she want to go out with you a second time? So, Nancy, high five to you, my friend. What do we got sports-wise? There we go.
There
That's
it
what I was waiting for.
Me too.
The cool thing is, I think Oklahoma, because I'm down with the softball, they're going to play tomorrow. I think they play UCLA. It's in the morning, so I'll be able to see a little bit of the game before I head over to the golf course.
That should be a good matchup. UCLA's tough.
I love watching the girls play. Oregon State's going to play tonight, so you'll be able to watch some of that tonight.
Yeah, ESPN2 they're playing on, which is nice.
And then we got to wait almost a week for the finals to start. That's crazy.
Yeah. But I like the idea I can watch college baseball on ESPN and not have to wander around with the Pac-12 network and their one camera game shoots. It's been really rough during baseball season this year.
Oh,
skeleton
crew.
One camera behind home plate.
And that's it.
Yeah. Not good.
No, that's not a good way to enjoy baseball.
No.
That's not getting the job done right there.
Yeah, it's been bad.
They
just have been, understaffed and overworked and everything else.
What else has jumped out at you around the majors? What are you seeing right now? What's impressed you?
Well, the interesting thing is the Braves have lost, 10 of their last 15. They've had all the injuries. Acuna went down. They've had players go down all year, and they're not going to make it this year. I don't even see the postseason for them. We'll see.
What's up with the Guardians?
I'll tell you what, they're good. Good young players, solid organization. And they've had to play without Stephen Kwan now for about 3 weeks. He pulled a hammy, and I don't think he's back yet, but they continue to win, and he's a great player for them.
Mariners, 3-game lead in the West on top of the Rangers.
Yeah, do you expect them to hold that, Chad?
Yeah, because their pitching's good enough.
Yeah, maybe.
I guess here's what I think. The last couple of years, they had to expend so much energy, because they get off to slow starts. So I think it's going to be better for them if they can, keep this pace up going into the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will give them a chance to be in a position to not have to make up so much ground down the stretch, which is a good thing for them.
Yeah.
They won't do anything to add bats, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say. They've been fortunate, though, that Texas hasn't really played yet. They're stumbling around, and Houston is stumbling around, and then you got Oakland, who's Oakland and the Angels. They're not going to do anything.
No. Yankees 2 games up on the Orioles. That's going to be a good race.
Oh, that's going to be a dogfight all year.
And the Dodgers, after going through a bit of a slump, have won 3 straight. They got a 6.5-game lead in the West. So
yeah, no problem.
It looks like next week's battle that I'll be at will be 2 first-place teams going head-to-head. So I like that.
Well, hey, it's Dodgers versus the Yankees. You can throw out whatever happens. It's Dodgers-Yankees. Historic matchup.
Thanks for your time listening today. We appreciate it. Big thanks to Mike Oakes at Master Control, who did a fabulous job. You guys enjoy your weekend. Dwight and I'll be back on Monday for the Rip City Drive at 3. Enjoy your night, my friend. I'll see you tomorrow.
Same here.
Good night.
It's Mike, and I'm wrapping up KX, and I'll be right with you.